Do you ever just stop and think about Monkey Ball? You know, like, really think about it. I do. All the time, actually. More than I should, really. It's starting to affect my marriage. But why do I think about Super Monkey Ball so much? Is it because the original arcade machine came with a banana-shaped joystick that I just think is so neat? No, but still, that is just fantastic. What a nice little touch. Is it because of this render of Ai? No, but I'm sure as hell gonna be thinking about it now. Who did this? Jesus Christ, why does he look like that? The arms, the vaguely threatening facial expression. I feel like this image wants to hurt me. Is it even because of the beautiful presentation, thoughtful level design, and fantastic gameplay? Unfortunately, still no. The reason I think about Super Monkey Ball, the reason I lay awake deep into the night staring at my ceiling, nothing but Gone Gone on the brain, the reason I'm sitting here talking to you all like my therapist right now is how badly Super Monkey Ball hurt me. Super Monkey Ball severely and irrevocably hurt not just me, but everyone who loved and appreciated it. But before we could be hurt, we needed to be hooked, and that hook came in the form of Super Monkey Ball and Super Monkey Ball 2. There are few games that I would call timeless. It's such a nebulous concept, being timeless and without age. I feel like I can't even begin to craft a list of games that match that criteria. What I do know, however, is that Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 go so indescribably hard and make that list without a second thought. These games feel just as good to play today as they did back on our crusty CRTs in the early 2000s. GameCubes plugged proudly into those red, white, and yellow AV ports. Super Monkey Ball 1 was a port of the original arcade game by a similar name, Monkey Ball. You know, without the super. While we lost that beautiful banana joystick in the transition, and I will never, ever forgive Super Monkey Ball for that, the changes it made more than made up for it, and earned it that super in the title. It had the same great levels, with improved graphics and visual flair, new music, new modes, party games, and of course, the inclusion of Gone Gone as a playable character, despite him apparently being the villain of the game. Kinda strange how Gone Gone was conspicuously absent during the very specific time frame in 2001 between Monkey Ball and Super Monkey Ball's releases. I wonder what he was up to. Let's not read too much more into that. Super Monkey Ball is a simple game played entirely with the control stick. You have one goal: roll your monkey to the end of the stage. The game doesn't make this easy on you though. Super Monkey Ball still has its arcade game DNA at its heart. This game was designed to suck quarters out of your pocket, and you can feel it in the level design. Not even beginner mode pulls its punches. You might think you're doing really well on your first try. You know, oh, by Jove, I get it. I moved the monkey to the goal with a gray stick. How quaint. Then Beginner 10 welcomes you to the real world and reminds you of your mortality. Advanced mode takes it a step even further. You aren't beating this mode without an intimate familiarity with the way the game controls and a lot of trial and error. Expert mode just pulls out a gun and shoots you through your screen. But at least that's impersonal. Clean. Quick. Not like Master Mode. Master Mode destroys you systematically, personally. Master Mode steals your wallet, takes your identity, seduces your wife, wins over your kids, takes your job, and finally frames you for a crime you didn't even commit, and gets you thrown in jail for 10 years with nothing to do but sit there and think about it. And yet, while you're sitting there thinking about it, even after everything this game has done to you, you still know that it's not the game's fault. It's a you problem. A skill issue, you could say, because Super Monkey Ball's gameplay is immaculate. The physics are just incredible. The movement is so responsive and intuitive. Every input does exactly what it feels like it should do. As you gain more familiarity with the game's mechanics, the levels grow with you, increasing in complexity and difficulty, constantly giving you interesting and creative new challenges to match your new skill level. For every mountain you climb, every problem you finally conquer, the game just gives you the middle finger and says, okay, now try this one, asshole. And try it you do, because as hard as it is, it's entirely fair. It's entirely on you to get better and rise to meet the challenge. And you will have an absolute blast doing it. But what if you're tired of this challenge? What if you need a little break from getting your knees bashed in and your liver stolen by Exam C? Well, good news. You don't even have to shut off Super Monkey Ball. You can just head on over to the party games and play some surprisingly really well-made side modes. Racing, bowling, fighting, billiards, golf, and Monkey Target are all really responsive and fleshed out. Despite not being this game's main course, they don't feel like a complete and total afterthought. They're a great distraction, and they're a blast to play with a full group of 4 friends. Not that multiplayer is fully relegated to these side modes though. The main game is fully multiplayer too, supporting up to 4 players competing to see who can make it the furthest or get the highest score in any of the game's difficulty levels. I don't know, maybe I'm a sociopath and love watching my friends suffer, but Super Monkey Ball is my go-to game for parties, get-togethers, or family gatherings. Watching my friends learn the game and realize how good it is extremely gratifying. Almost as gratifying as watching the light fade from their eyes as they game over for the first time on Beginner 10. It's not even just the gameplay that this game nails, the aesthetic is incredible too. The areas are all visually interesting and look very polished, the music is great, the character designs are just iconic. The sound effects have a fantastic weight and unique sound to them. This game is more than a treat for the thumbs, it's a treat for the eyes and ears as well. Honestly, Super Monkey Ball is such an amazing and complete package. The only thing that I want from it is more of it. So here's more of it, but even better. Super Monkey Ball 2, ladies and gentlemen, proof that as of 2002, God had not yet abandoned us. I owned both Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 growing up, but I spent most of my time with this entry, mostly because there's just so much more to do. Alongside an entirely new set of levels, they also included revamped versions of every single minigame from the original, alongside 6 new ones. We've got tennis, baseball, soccer, boating, guns, and fucking dogfighting? Like planes dogfighting, for the record, not like dogfighting, but still, what the fuck? On top of the revamped challenge mode and party game, Super Monkey Ball 2 comes with a brand new story mode, complete with just the most incredible cutscenes. Quick SparkNotes summary. Basically, this cartoonishly evil science ape named Dr. Bad Boon flies into Jungle Island on his really stupid blimp and steals all of the bananas, Dole-branded bananas might I add, with his comically large vacuum cleaner. It then falls to Ai and the gang, notably now including Gon after his off-screen redemption arc, to go through Dr. Bad Boon's labyrinths and take back the bananas before he can use his evil science techniques to make them all taste like curry, of course. For the record, he's doing all of this to try to steal Ai's wife as a ransom for the bananas, which makes it even funnier. Along the way, the monkeys perform magical feats using the power of friendship, monkey chants, and a little dance that they do in this weird rainbow monkey dimension that puts them into balls? Also, according to the manual, Baby isn't just Mimi and Ai's son, he's their son from the future, who came back in time specifically to help foil Dr. Bad Boon's plans. What was he doing in the first game then? No idea. The manual is also sure to let us know that Dr. Bad Boon's silent henchman, you know, the ape wearing roller skates driving the hot air balloon, is actually a complete sweetheart and a monkey of true character, despite him being on the enemy side. That's right, Super Monkey Ball 2 has a Camus archetype, because of course it does. No notes, pure Kino. This story mode takes you through 10 levels in each of this game's new worlds, some of which are retreadings of themes from the first game, like new jungle and underwater areas, but most of the new areas go all out on the creativity. We've got an amusement park, a volcano, a robot monkey factory, and a clock tower, the inside of a whale complete with a ruined city, a bubbly washing machine in the middle of a zen garden, or you know what? Fuck it, soup.
Where are you right now? I'm at soup! What do you mean you're at soup? I mean I'm at soup!
The music in these areas is peak as well. Super Monkey Ball already had a great soundtrack, but every single track in the sequel is an absolute banger. I unironically have some of these on my playlist that I listen to on a regular basis. I can and will bump Super Monkey Ball 2 OST-World 6-Boiling Pot in the car, in front of people. Yes, I should be institutionalized. So yeah, Super Monkey Ball 2 is an improvement in just about every area of a game that I would already have given a 10 out of 10. I really can't wait to see what they do with the series. Why do I suddenly not feel safe? Okay, in the interest of being charitable and fair, I will say that things didn't suddenly all look dark at once following Monkey Ball 2. Within the next 4 years, we got 2 handheld games that did a pretty decent job of translating the series' essence onto something portable, with Monkey Ball Jr. and Touch 'n Roll. The former is basically a port of Super Monkey Ball 1, but it has less levels and looks kinda like deep-fried vomit, while the latter is its own standalone game that takes a lot of levels from the originals and includes some decent original ones. These games don't really approach the quality of the originals, but they don't have to. They're portable games from an era when portable games were still a noted step down from console games, and they do their job fine enough. Okay, this is just getting weird. Does anyone else feel cold? Like goosebumps? I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm being watched. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to call this video off. For some reason, I feel really unsafe. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. There's the funny purple subscriber chart. Please subscribe, like the video, and all that. I'm out of here before this gets ugly.
Super Monkey Ball Adventure.
Super Monkey Ball Adventure is a really special game. I would really love to meet the man who looked at Monkey Ball and was like, looks good, but you know who could do it better? The guys behind LEGO Star Wars. So yeah, the guys that brought you LEGO Star Wars, Traveler's Tales, unceremoniously shout out this beautiful little piece of shovelware in 2005, Super Monkey Ball Adventure. This game pretty much entirely ditches the Monkey Ball formula. You know, the whole reason for playing the game, the beautiful, lovingly crafted gameplay with amazing physics and great level design. Fuck that, we're doing hub worlds. Just by looking at this game, you can probably see the actual negative amounts of polish on display here. Look at this unedited footage of this game's sorry excuse for a challenge mode. I played this for 10 minutes for footage, and in that short amount of time, I got a bug where the music just completely stopped working.
Ready? Go! Fallout!
I wasn't kidding when I called this shovelware. This game doesn't even feel real. It barely even functions. Everything, from the UI to the character models to the environments, just looks terrible. Apart from being ugly, the environments are also about as fun to traverse as the world-famous Barefoot Broken Glass Emporium. Couple the difficulty of traversal with the complete lack of actual direction from the game on where to go, and you have a recipe for disaster. I'd hesitate to even call it a recipe, that sounds a little too organized. It's more like the devs scooped up some broken glass from the previously mentioned Barefoot Broken Glass Emporium, threw it in a KitchenAid with flour and an egg, baked it at 350, and served it to you with no utensils. I have no idea why they thought this was a good idea. Honestly, I cannot think of anything worse to do with the Super Monkey Ball formula than a 3D adventure platformer. They could have pulled off a Monkey Ball visual novel with more finesse. Speaking of a visual novel, this game actually has a plot too, but it's not like silly and charming like Monkey Ball 2 was. It's actually really weird, poorly presented, and kind of needlessly convoluted. Okay, I'll be real, gun to my head, you couldn't possibly force me to play through this game to refresh myself on the whole plot, so don't expect a full plot breakdown. You're not getting Super Monkey Ball Adventure, an unbridled rage. From what I do remember, there's like a whole star-crossed lovers thing with a monkey prince and a monkey princess from 2 warring nations, and there's also these weird creatures that like make the world unhappy or something, and you have to kill them by running into them 3 times. I don't know, I got as far as this old man telling me that Ai was the only hope because the Monkey Kingdom was ringing the bells, and that means sadness or something. And here I thought the bells meant surrender. Oh yeah, remember that bit in Monkey Ball 2's manual about Baby being from the future? Well, in this game, there's also a bit where they expand on that by saying that the ones who invented the time machine were actually Gon and Ai because they started their own tech firm in the future. And also, they, of course, invented the Monkey Balls, because of course the Monkey Balls had to be explained by the plot. It can't just be that it's a silly game about silly monkeys and silly balls running through silly mazes. No, we need Monkey Ball lore. Well, at least the next Monkey Ball game returned to being that silly little arcade game about rolling a monkey into the goal, right? Oh god, fuck, let this be a lesson. Be careful what you wish for, or else you'll end up like me, spending your Saturday evening alone in your room, 7 pages deep into an essay about Super Monkey Ball. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my own personal hell. Monkey Ball Adventure is an objectively worse shart of a game than Banana Blitz, but it was clearly rushed, outsourced, and not really given any real care. Hell, it wasn't even released in Japan. It's kind of easy to overlook Monkey Ball Adventure as a weird spin-off, a blemish on Monkey Ball's record, kind of like II's version of Hotel Mario. Banana Blitz, on the other hand, is trying to be the next Monkey Ball, and it fails spectacularly. This game spits in the face of everything the original stood for. Intuitive controls and creative level design? Yeah, how about janky, unresponsive motion controls and long, barren hallways with nothing to do but occasionally jump over hurdles and think about what you're doing with your life? Oh yeah, jumping. There's a jump button now, and it is, really something. It's jerky, it's janky, it just feels awful in your hands. Remember multiplayer? Well, eat shit, idiot. Keep remembering, because you won't find it here. The main game is single player only. Fuck you if you want to play this game with your friends. Well, hey, at least there's still party games, right? Nope, still fuck you. These party games are nothing approaching the quality of the originals. They're all nearly unplayable, motion control tech demos, like one of those cheap minigame collections you could buy from the $5 bin at Walmart in the mid to late 2000s. These are, insulting. There are few games on this earth that can truly get to me just by existing, and Banana Blitz is one of them. It's not just the fact that Banana Blitz is a bad game that makes me hate it so much. There are plenty of bad games on the Wii, probably more so than any other at least semi-modern console. This thing was basically made to play Mario Galaxy or Imagine Party Babies. There's not much in between. What really makes me angry here is the complete betrayal of the series' legacy. Every single positive from the originals is absent here. The gameplay is terrible. The minigames don't function. The aesthetic is overly colorful and garish with terrible new redesigns. And the sound design is irritating with the monkeys screaming every time you jump and the ball sound effects just being worse across the board. The only good thing I can really say about the entire game is that the music is pretty okay. It's probably the best part of the game, but at the end of the day, if a game could give me depression, this would be the game to do it. It kinda hurt me. And the monsters over at Sega continued to hurt me. Over and over and over again for years and years on end. First, it was terrible mobile games. Then, it was Step and Roll, basically just Banana Blitz, but on a Wii balance board, and with worse level design. They just wouldn't let up. They finally gave up on console releases and just started releasing mediocre handheld games. And after those finally stopped working out, they abandoned the Monkey Ball formula entirely and just released more mobile games, but this time, they were so bad that they're now considered lost media. The pain seemed like it would never end, but one day it kind of just did. Not with a grand catharsis, not with a return to form. No, really the pain ended with silence. For 5 years, Super Monkey Ball was missing in action. Just as quickly as he'd appeared, Gone was, well, gone. The wounds began to heal with time, but my heart never really did. Replaying the old games was bittersweet. Yes, they were the same great games they always had been, but I knew their legacy was forever tarnished by what came after. Thankfully, at some point, Monkey Ball came back. With the same great mechanics and hundreds of incredible, thoughtfully put together levels, the glory days had finally returned. It feels good to know that even though it stumbled, Super Monkey Ball was able to pull itself back out of the hole to entertain a whole new generation. What a great, heartwarming redemption arc. Oh hey, Lemonade Lobster, what's up? What? Those were fan-made ROM hacks of Monkey Ball 2? So what did they make after 5 years of complete silence? Banana Blitz HD? Okay, let's have a little chat here. Who asked for this? Whose idea was this? Who wanted this? And who at Sega wanted to make this? On paper, it might not seem like such a terrible idea. Take the Monkey Ball game that was reviled for its poor controls and make it control with an analog stick. Voila, game's fixed, right? No, absolutely not. If it were so simple, this would have fixed my marriage. Banana Blitz HD may fix the controls, but you can't fix that the game is fundamentally flawed. The levels are boring and uninspired, there's no challenge to them whatsoever. The original Wii devs knew that the movement was imprecise and barely functional, so the levels are full of guardrails and straight paths that just get so old so fast. It feels like you're playing the same level over and over again. Not every Monkey Ball level needs to be hard, there are some absolute bangers from the originals that are easy first try clears, but the levels in Banana Blitz aren't even interesting. Easy things can be fun, but they have to be compelling. I made a whole video about why Pikmin 4 is a great game despite being really easy, but Pikmin 4 accomplishes that by being incredibly varied and full to the brim with polish and charm. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD, on the other hand, is boring, uninteresting, and repetitive, with all the charm of a Golden Corral-induced enema. The graphics aren't even much better than the game it's supposedly remaking, it's still just as ugly as the Wii version. The HD graphics have no personality to them. It looks like Sega hired this man to give us Banana Blitz again, but in HD. Speaking of presentation, remember when I said the music in the original was pretty good? You know, when I said it was the best part of the original game? Well, thanks to some licensing issues, most of the original soundtrack has been replaced by some absolute generic dog shit. Man, isn't this game just awesome? The icing on top of this shit sundae is that Banana Blitz HD actually has less content than the Wii version did. As terrible as the minigames were, at least they were there, but Banana Blitz HD took out 80% of them and then fixed the controls on the remainder. Okay, great, they're technically playable now, but do I want to play them? No, not at all. They're still boring, uninspired, and just unpolished. So yeah, not exactly the return to form we were hoping for. This game is not worth its $30 price tag. There's a reason you'll find it in the bargain bin bundled with Sonic Forces for $20. But Soda Crab, my more discerning viewers may be thinking, if it's not worth the price, then why did you buy it? Well, you absolute specimen, that's a fantastic point. To answer your question, I bought it because Sega basically held a gun to Ai-Ai's head and threatened to splatter his brains across Jungle Island if I didn't buy this game. I wish I was kidding. Sega held Monkey Ball as a series hostage with this game, saying that it would be an indicator of whether or not people wanted more Monkey Ball. If this game didn't sell, if this terrible, awful, low-effort remake of a game that no one asked for didn't sell, there would be no more Monkey Ball. So I didn't buy this game per se. I paid a ransom so they couldn't take my beloved Gone away from me. So what did I get for investing in Super Monkey Ball's future? Well, in 2021, I reaped what I'd sown by showing Sega that low-effort HD remakes of Monkey Ball games were acceptable. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. I feel like there's some kind of Mandela effect going on here. I feel like I played a different game than everyone else did. I wanted to love this game. I really did, and it seems like a lot of people do like this game. Ask your average gamer with surface-level Monkey Ball knowledge, and they'll tell you that Banana Mania saved the franchise. That it's the return to form we've been looking for years. Some will even compare it to a game like Sonic Mania, especially because they share the mania in the title. But man, I just cannot agree. On paper, this should make me happy. It's everything I've ever wanted, right? The clever level design, the intuitive controls, it's all here. Did they do it? Yes, but at what cost? Oh, you know, only everything that I've ever known and loved. First of all, those incredible physics that I touted earlier that I claimed made the originals so amazing, they do not feel anywhere near as good in this game. They're functional. I'm not going to sit here and claim that the game doesn't work, that your average Joe can't pick up this game and enjoy it. But this shit is boneless. The turning is off, the momentum is wonky. I can't put it perfectly into words, but the difference in quality and effort here is like night and day. It's not that it's different. I'm not being a bitter, jaded old fan here that can't accept change. Different can be great. The problem with Banana Mania is that here, different just feels worse. It feels like a poor emulation of the original's physics. Yes, they work, and returning to passable physics and a control stick already puts it in the top half of Monkey Ball games, but should I really be singing this game's praises for doing the absolute bare minimum by being controllable when the physics that you're controlling don't even feel good? Any other game would get shit for this. People give Super Mario Sunshine shit all the time because the movement doesn't feel as good as in Mario 64. But by Monkey Ball logic, that just doesn't matter. Sunshine's movement is actually great because even if the physics, the momentum, the jumps, and everything in between doesn't feel as good, at least you can move with the control stick and the jump button is on A. Stop complaining and being negative, you jaded old head. Now, I love Super Mario Sunshine despite its mechanical shortcomings, but that's because it's redeemed by its personality and aesthetic. Banana Mania is not. Banana Mania just steals the original game's aesthetic and then makes it worse. The backgrounds and the actual level surfaces themselves are okay in HD, I'll give them that, but the colors are so much brighter and more plasticky and unrealistic. Presentation-wise, everywhere else is completely deficient. The art design is just as garish and ugly as it's been since the Wii and DS era. I just cannot stand the way the monkeys look. I hate the obnoxious rainbow effect, complete with disorienting sounds everywhere when you score a goal. I hate how cheap the UI and menus feel. It all just feels devoid of the personality that the originals were just oozing with. Another thing that harms this game in relation to the originals is the sound design. The sounds of your ball rolling have been almost entirely removed. They're barely audible. There's just no audible feedback for your movement and speed. Monkey Ball 1 and 2 had incredible sound effects. All they had to do was just steal them. It's so quiet, I would almost say it feels like I'm playing the game in an insulated room. That is, if it weren't for the damn monkeys. The monkeys' voices are so unbelievably annoying and over the top. They sound less like the cartoon monkeys from the originals and more like a Japanese voice actress going, "Yeah, yahoo, let's go," and stuff like that. It's uncanny, it's too human, it loses all that silly monkey charm. And while the monkeys get more obnoxious, the announcer is nowhere near as energetic and fun as the one in the original. Most egregiously, the music has been absolutely gutted. The original soundtrack was removed, and get this, shoved behind a $5 paywall, and they replaced it with painfully generic music. Just take a listen, the original soundtrack is basically a strict upgrade. You have to pay this $5 premium to have a good soundtrack, one that should have just been in the game in the first place. Even if you find this game in a bargain bin somewhere, or get a used copy from a friend, this game's soundtrack is neutered unless you pay up. This is an absolutely scummy DLC practice, but is it really a modern Sega game if there isn't a bunch of frivolous DLC that doubles the price of the game? Speaking of scummy, let's talk about how bad they fucked up the minigames. Gone are the days of polish and depth. These minigames masquerade as the originals while actually being barely functional, lazy excuses for content. Every single one feels worse in comparison to the originals. But for the sake of brevity, let's just look at two of my favorites from the originals, Monkey Target and Monkey Baseball. In Super Monkey Ball 2, Monkey Target is where boys became men. Forget your zodiac sign, I want to hear what your favorite monkey target round is. From the very start, monkey target is enthralling. The initial jump is so satisfying. It makes great use of the game's existing physics to send you careening down the ramp and launching you into the air. It just feels incredible. Then as you're falling down towards the ocean, you choose when to open your ball and begin gliding. It's a delicate balance between steering where you want to go while also not losing too much speed and stalling. Landing smack dab on the 1000 with a magnet and a 4-star multiplier is just an unmatched high. Followed, of course, immediately by emotional trauma as your dickhead friend bashes into you as they land and knock you into the water with 0 points. An incredible party game, full marks. Banana Mania's answer to this classic is a barely functioning mess. In fact, barely functioning as being charitable, it kind of just doesn't work. First of all, just take a look at this jump and tell me if you see anything wrong with it. Yeah, since this game's physics suck, they couldn't actually just use the built-in physics engine to launch you from the ramp, so it just awkwardly and very noticeably grabs control from you and flings you up at the same angle every time. There's no technique to it, you're just put on rails and it feels incredibly cheap and unfinished. But oh god, the second you open your ball, the rails are gone. It's a disastrous train accident and everyone on board is dead. You just start sinking like a rock. You have to wrestle with the game just to make it to the first target. Forget making it to the further ones. If there's a bad wind, it's not something to account for. It's not a fun challenge. It's a lost cause. You just aren't making it to the target. It's honestly impressive that they could flub such an amazing concept. Even Super Monkey Ball Adventure's monkey target wasn't this bad. I spent a lot of time with Monkey Baseball as a kid. It's a party game full to the brim with personality. It does some really neat things to translate baseball to monkey ball. One player controls the outfielders and pitches by rolling towards the batter. The other player swings to hopefully hit a home run, or if not, at least hit the ball into one of the pockets at the edge of the field. Before you even lay your eyes on the diamond, the music is already putting in work. The field stage has this song that just feels like baseball. I can't describe it, but it's perfect. And just look at all this personality on display here. All of the monkeys standing in the outfield and the colors of the pockets popping in contrast to the field really bring the whole thing together. This isn't baseball, it's monkey baseball. My absolute favorite part of this game has to be the home runs. Every time you hit one of these ramps, the announcer screams, and you get to make your friend watch as every monkey you had on the bases makes their way home in this obnoxiously long animation with this really catchy but extremely short tune looping on repeat the entire time. Oh god, what a fun minigame. I wonder how they treated it in the remake. Okay, right off the bat, the music is terrible. I have almost nothing to say about it. It's just the most bland, inoffensive piece of music I've ever listened to. It sounds like something that would be in the background of a Dave & Buster's commercial, not the track you'll be listening to for an entire game of Monkey Baseball, and oh, what a game it's going to be. Just look at this. The aesthetic is ruined. Remember those striking colors on the pockets? Well, they're gone. It's just red and black now. And it doesn't stop at the colors. The monkey outfielders have been replaced with these generic gates that just count as an out when the ball bounces off of one. This definitely wasn't on my bingo card, but it looks like monkey outfielder is officially the first job to be completely replaced by AI. Not that they'd actually be catching anything though, because the ball just isn't going anywhere. It's near impossible to actually hit the ball. 99% of the time it'll just bounce off and go absolutely nowhere. Keep in mind, this isn't like real baseball. You can't run if you just hit the ball. You have to either hit it over a home run ramp or into one of those pockets at the edge of the stage. Otherwise, it's an out. You will not be hitting a pocket though. You just won't. I played this game for almost an hour. An hour that I will never, ever get back. And neither me nor the AI ever hit a single base or home run in 9 innings. In fact, even in the 6-minute long gameplay demo of Monkey Baseball on the official Monkey Ball YouTube channel, they didn't reach the pockets once. Not even the people selling you Banana Mania can make it look like this thing functions. They did, however, manage to hit a home run somehow. Let's compare a home run in the original to a home run in Mania, shall we?
Home run!
So, to recap Monkey Baseball, we have a party game that looks ugly, sounds ugly, has no personality, and also, as a cherry on top, just straight up doesn't work. We did it, guys. Super Monkey Ball is finally saved. And you know what the worst part is? You can't even just ignore the shitty party games and use Banana Mania as a way to play an approximation of classic Monkey Ball with your friends without breaking out the GameCube. For some baffling, unknown, godforsaken reason, they just removed multiplayer from challenge mode. One of the best multiplayer modes of all time, one of the selling points of the originals, the thing that got me the most hours out of the game is just gone. Not included. For a game that supposedly was a return to form for Monkey Ball, I really just don't have a single good thing to say about Banana Mania. The level designs are the only major positive I can think of, and those are only good because they were lifted straight out of the originals. They haven't designed a good set of Monkey Ball levels in over 20 years. I can't give you a single reason to play this game over the originals, other than maybe accessibility if you don't have a GameCube or an emulator. The gameplay is worse, the aesthetic is a downgrade, the soundtrack is kneecapped unless you pay up, and there's no multiplayer unless you want to trudge through a nearly unplayable slog in the party games. This game just isn't good. I'm hesitant to even call it okay. It's not a diamond in the rough, it's a piece of fool's gold on a cheese grater. The only excuse that this game has to exist is that even if it does it poorly, it puts Monkey Ball 1 and 2's content in the same place for the first time. Or is it the first time? Some of my fellow Super Monkey Ball connoisseurs may have noticed that I skipped over a game earlier in this video. Right smack dab between Monkey Ball Jr. and Monkey Ball Adventure, there is another chapter in the Super Monkey Ball tragedy that makes Banana Mania's existence even more of a head-scratcher. That game is Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, a 2005 Xbox and PS2 port of Monkey Ball 1 and 2, combined into one game, including all levels and party games from both games, an expanded story mode, extra levels, and of course, multiplayer in challenge mode. Deluxe has a couple of small issues from the port job being a little sloppy, but the bottom line is that this is all they needed to do. A port of Monkey Ball Deluxe would not only have been good enough, it would have been better than Banana Mania. It has the buttery smooth gameplay from the originals, the iconic aesthetic and music, the incredible party games, multiplayer. It's all right here. It's always been here. Why did they go out of their way to make a game that is worse in every way than this one? I would have gladly paid $30 for a deluxe port. The only explanation is that Monkey Ball Banana Mania was such a rush job that it was quicker to throw it together in Unity than it would have been to port Deluxe. And you can feel it. The assets are cheap, the gameplay is clunky, modes are unfinished. This game was not made with love, it was made out of obligation. Almost like another 2021 remake of a classic that we all know and love. At the end of the day, Banana Mania isn't the redemption arc we were all hoping for. It's not Monkey Ball's Sonic Mania. No, this game is nothing more than Super Monkey Ball, Brilliant Diamond, and Shining Pearl. Unless you have absolutely no access to the original and you need to play some Super Monkey Ball right now, there's just no point. I have nothing good to say about Banana Mania over the originals unless you like superfluous customization options and a Yakuza-style completion list. It saddens me to say, but at least for now, Monkey Ball's glory days are still behind it, and unless someone at Sega decides to start caring as much as we do, it's unfortunately going to remain that way. Wait, never mind, you can play as Kazuma Kiryu from Yakuza. This game is actually incredible. Buy it now! Hey guys, thanks a ton for stopping by and watching all the way to the end. This is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and Super Monkey Ball is something that I feel extremely passionate about, so I'm really glad I finally got to talk about it. In fact, I'd love to talk about it even more, so please, if you have any thoughts, leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to respond to as many as I can. While you're down there, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe too. It really helps me out a lot, and to be honest, watching the numbers go up is really motivating. It really helps stave off that existential dread that's always creeping in, you know? Also, continuing the shameless plug, after thinking it over, I made a Patreon recently. No pressure to give me your money, really, I'm just glad people are watching my videos, but if you like helping out your favorite creators, I'd really appreciate the support. Any money you donate there is going to be reinvested right back into making my videos better. Whether that's with new equipment, new software like Photoshop so I can stop using GIMP, and other YouTube related expenses. You're making an investment in me, so I'm going to do my best to make sure your investment pays off. I'm never going to hide my content behind a paywall, not even a temporary one, so I won't be offering patron exclusive videos or early access, but I'll try to make it fun with little perks like polls to influence the content schedule and shoutouts in videos. Speaking of shoutouts, I'd like to thank my first ever patron, Jonas Leschper. Really hope I'm pronouncing that right, that would be embarrassing. But really, thanks a bunch, Jonas, you're a real one. I really appreciate the support. That being said, you're all real ones for making it all the way through that outro. I guess at this point, all that's left to do is say thanks again for watching, have a great day or good night, and I'll see you next time.